Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a rant on a product from Sephora, and I haven't done a rant in a while. I've liked a lot of the products I've tried recently, which is yay, lots of good high quality products, but this product just deserves some well-deserved hate. So what product am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Sephora Pantone Universe collection. I have the palette and I have the two lipsticks. Now, I know that it's not Sephora's fault that Pantone chose these two colors. If you're wondering, like, what's Pantone and what's this whole deal with the Pantone Universe? Basically, Pantone picks a color for the year, and that shade kind of represents what's going to be popular that year, usually based on trends, etc. Now last year we had Marsala, and Marsala was fabulous. Loved it. I read an article actually about how a lot of people didn't like Marsala. How did you not like it? Especially in the makeup realm, I thought Marsala just blew it out of the park. Whereas Serenity and Rose Quartz, I don't feel are really makeup friendly, especially in the way that Sephora presented them. I feel like they could have done a better job. So this review is going to be an all-encompassing review. I'm going to give you picture swatches of the lipsticks, picture swatches of the shadows. I'm also going to do live swatches of the lipsticks, live swatches of the shadows, and I'm going to give you some comparisons to last year's palette, the Marsala palette. I'm not going to go into the lipstick because that's kind of like comparing apples and bananas. Doesn't really make much sense, but I'm going to compare up the two palettes and what I feel about what they could have done differently. So let's start with the shadows. Let's get those swatched up, and then we can talk about what I liked, what I hated, the formula, etc. Let's get that out of the way. One thing I will note, that this year the shades are actually on a clear piece of paper that kind of stays right over each shadow, whereas last year all the shades were on the back. So let's swatch this up. So here is a quick swatch up of the first 8 shades, and they swatched better on the arm, but overall really ugh. Those shades were not good either. Now for the last 4. I'm trying so hard to swatch these for you guys. Now that we've gone through that massive disappointment, as you can see, most of these shades were chalky, sheer, not very pigmented at all, just very pastel-y. Like literally they remind me of, you know when you're a teacher and you got that pastel chalk that always breaks on the chalkboard and makes the chalkboard go that's what it looks like they put into this palette. Like, I don't understand it. I understand spring is coming up and this is a spring themed palette and I totally get the spring theme. I get the watercolor theme. I get the nod to kind of like the 90s nostalgia, lighter colors. I get all that. What I don't understand is why Sephora couldn't bring a higher quality palette. I don't understand, for example, all of the metallic shades, this one, all the metallic shades worked great. It was the more matte shades, like the light pink, the mint, the yellow. These shades just didn't work. I mean, of course you can get them to work, and some of my tips and tricks that I'm going to suggest to you guys is flat, dense brush, prime your eyes, pat the color on. But one problem I had is I was using this almost Cinderella blue right here, and this is actually the Serenity shade. I used that on my eyes today on my lid, and I used a primer and I patted it on, and I wasn't even done with my makeup look and it started fading. I mean, that's just really bad. Like, that should not be happening, not from a Sephora product, especially not from like especially not from a Sephora brand product. This is not what I expect. This is pure garbage. I don't understand how they could pass this kind of quality off. I expect this quality from e.l.f. Cosmetics, Eyes, Lips, Face Cosmetics. Not to say that e.l.f. is a bad brand. It's not. It's an affordable brand that you can get a whole bunch of stuff for a very cheap price, and you just got to work a little bit harder to get it to work. That's fine. If I'm paying $2, $3 for something, fine. When I'm paying the prices that I'm paying, which will be listed below, when I'm paying the prices I'm paying for a palette like this, I expect something a little bit higher quality than what I'm seeing here. You can do bright colors, for example. Urban Decay has done very nice bright colors with a much higher quality, much higher standard. So I don't understand what happened with this palette. I mean, unless they want us to just look like we're kids in junior high school. You know what I think they're going for? I'm gonna tell you what I think they're going for. I think they want us to look like junior high school girls did in the 90s. You know, the broke ones, like me. Even this eye look I did today, a lot of the powder that I put on kind of started migrating. Because this look, when I first started it, I used the Serenity shade on my lid. I used 17-4-111 in the crease. I used 16-3802 as an all-over eye shade, and then I used 17-4041 on the outer V. And I can tell you right now, there was not as much blue. It was not as high up to my brow bone when I first did this look. So this shadow is definitely migrating and fading at the same time. It's migrating and fading at the same time. Very weird. But it reminds me of like when you're in junior high school and you're like, alright, time for some blue eyeshadow. And it's like you Mimi it like Drew Carey. If you guys have watched Drew Carey in the 90s, Mimi had like that blue eyeshadow like right up to her brows. I feel like this is what's happening in this palette. Like this palette's like, Sephora just should have told people like, hey, listen, do you want to feel like a 14-year-old in 1992? Here you go. Buy this. All your dreams will come true. It's like, I just don't understand how they dropped the ball with this palette. So aside from the color of the year, aka the disappointing color of the year, I'm going to talk about the lipsticks. They're in the same kind of packaging as the Marcella lipstick was last year. It's that metallic packaging where it kind of is like floating. We did get 2 lipsticks this year because, of course, the color. We have 2 colors this year. We have Serenity and Rose Quartz. Now, I can understand Rose Quartz a little bit because a lot of people went gaga over the MAC's Bianca B, I think the shade was. It was that super, super chalky pink shade and everybody went gaga over it. I sold mine because it was one of the few MAC shades that I was just never ever going to be able to pull off, and I didn't even want it in my collection. And anybody who knows me knows that I cherish each and every one of my MAC babies, so for me to sell one kind of like, ugh, you know, kind of says something. But again, this all comes down to personal preference, I think, when it comes to lipsticks. So, personal preference aside, the quality was just not what I expected. Again, this is supposed to be a fully matte shade, yet when applied to the lips, it leaves a noticeable sheen. Plus, it is streaky as all hell. As soon as you push your lips together like that, you will get these lines like you haven't applied it evenly. Of course, you can blot your lips. You can apply it with lip liner. There's lots of ways you can get this shade to work. And it is, of course, cheaper than buying, say, Bianca B off eBay. But it is that chalky, light pink. Did not flatter my skin tone. It's not going to flatter a lot of skin tones. But with that being said, I know a lot of people still will wear this shade. So if you're willing to work with a somewhat streaky shade that you may have to blot a few times, wear some lip liner with, then by all means get Rose Quartz, because it's not too terrible a shade if you like that color. They also included a blue, which I was excited about because I love blue lipstick. And this is in the shade Serenity, which is the same color I'm wearing on my eyes. It's the same shade that's in the palette. So you can get a little matchy-matchy. By the way, Rose Quartz is also in the palette. But I have the same problems with the shade. Chalky, streaky, just had a satiny finish rather than a matte. Made my teeth look yellow, and you'll see this in the picture swatches right here. So as you can see, both were just like not flattering on me at all. Now my biggest gripe with this collection, and again, of course, Sephora didn't choose the two colors that Pantone did. If we have a look at last year's palette, which is, mine has been beaten to death because I loved it so much. Here we go. Here is the palette from last year. As you can see, all the shades are kind of set in, which is a little bit different than this year's. As you can see, the shades are a little bit more set in as opposed to this shade, this year's palette. I like this year's palette in that they're spaced out, they're a little bit bigger. In terms of actual size, weight of this one is, the net weight is 24 by 0.03 ounce, and this one is 24 by 0.017 ounce, so this is actually more eyeshadow. When it comes to the shades that we had in the Marsala palette, these were more flattering for most skin tones. These included a lot of everyday wear shades, but a lot of fun shades like the silver, the blue, the mossy green, and I liked that they included 4 different Marsala shades: Marsala Satin, Marsala Matte, Marsala Metallic, Marsala Glitter, and they also included a lot of like neutral shades. Like, you didn't have to even wear Marsala from this palette. But most of the shades in this palette performed exceptionally well. Plus, the blush palette from Marsala was great, and the lipstick shade was, again, a very universally flattering shade. Whereas this year's shades are really funky and fun, and there's nothing wrong with that because I am all about funky fun. Let's experiment. Let's give something different. You know, we've seen the reds, we've seen the nudes, we've seen... I'm totally for something completely different and outrageous, as long as the quality is there. And unfortunately, it wasn't. So, are you guys gonna pick up the Pantone Universe Sephora collection for the Serenity Rose Quartz? Did you pick it up already? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Leave me some comments. Do you agree with any of my analysis or review or critique of this collection? Let me know, and I hope you enjoyed the picture swatches. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust.